notice yang my phone tu focus here. I know it's getting boring, right? But ada lagi dua.
Okay, please focus.
Yeah, Assalamualaikum and good evening to my beloved lecturer, Miss Hidayah, and to all my friends. My name is NURUL FAQIHAH with IZADUZAMAN. You can call me FAQIHAH. I am from the FAQIHAH. So today's topic, I will talk about climate change. So for your information, climate change, the severity of climate change depends on our future action. Which means more greenhouse gas emissions leads to worse climate extremes. This effect tied to how much carbon dioxide or other gases we emit. So to elaborate more about this topic, you should know first what is climate change. So climate change refers to long-term shift in temperatures and weather patterns. Some amount of climate change can be attributed to natural phenomena such as volcanic eruptions and sun's activity. However, since the 1800s, the human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. So many people believe that climate change is only about warmer temperature, right? But for information, it's more complicated than that. Since the Earth is interconnected, so changes in one place can affect others. The greenhouse effect is important for life on Earth too, because without it, it will be too cold for us to live here. This means climate change does help keep things balanced, providing the warmth and stability we need to thrive. Next. So, as the picture shown here, climate change must occur due to industrial activities, which they release amount of dangerous gases like carbon dioxide. So, this has significant impact on both our environment and human health. For example, climate change can lead to drought and forest fire. Okay. So the emissions that cause climate change can come from every part of the world and affect everyone. But some countries produce much more than others. In a series of UN reports, thousands of scientists and government reviewers agreed that limiting global temperature rise to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius. It would help us avoid the worst climate impact and maintain a livable climate. Yet policies currently in place point to a 3 degrees Celsius temperature rise by the end of the century. So while Malaysia remains one of the most biodiverse countries on Earth, the country battles with degradation of ecosystem, both in its wetland and forest habitat. Peninsular Malaysia has suffered significant deforestation since 1960, but they have slowed down since the 1980s. From 2011 to 2020, it was the warmest decade recorded, with global average temperature reaching 1.1 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels in 2019. Human-induced global warming is presently increasing at a rate of 0.2 degrees Celsius per decade. Next. So, as you know that the climate change happened because of many causes, right? So, the first one is because of human activities. As you can see, it's from industrial. So, the factories and facilities that produce our goods are significant sources of greenhouse gases. The industries are major consumers of energy, and their reliance of fossil fuels can exacerbate greenhouse gas emissions. Most industrial emissions come from the product of a small set of carbon products, including basic chemical, steel, iron, cement, and many more. to manufacture the building blocks of our infrastructure and the vast array of products demanded by consumers. Of course, producers must burn through massive amount of energy. So this showed that many industries do not optimizing energy efficiency and leading to excessive energy use and higher emissions. Using transportation can also be the cause of climate change. So the vehicles we usually rely on, like cars, motorcycles, bus, ships, and truck, are major contributors to global greenhouse gas emissions since they run on fossil fuels. Burning petroleum-based fuel in combustion engines releases massive amount of carbon dioxide into atmosphere, contributing significantly to our carbon footprint. So for your information, trucks are the worst polluter on the road because they run constantly and largely burn diesel fuel. Climate change does not only happen by the human activities, it also happens by the natural phenomena like volcanic activity. Volcanic activity are often discussed in climate change because they release carbon dioxide and other gases into our atmosphere. However, this phenomenon have give us a positive effect in the short term. Why I said so? Because when a volcano erupts explosively, it releases amount of ash and gases, particularly sulfur dioxide, which these gases form droplets that contribute to a cooling effect. So you might think that the hot volcano and all the smoke are the main issues in climate change, right? Because it's hot. But it's not the case. Impact of human activities on the carbon cycle far exceeds that of all the world's volcanoes combined by more than 100 times. So in simple terms, the carbon dioxide emissions from our everyday activities like driving cars, using electricity and industrial processes are far greater than the emissions produced by volcanoes.
Do you have any volcanic activity in our country?
No.
Where do you have it, the nearest one with us?
Indonesia.
Right.
So, you know that from this case, this highlights how our actions significantly impact the environment. Last but not least, cutting down forests can be also the main cause of climate change. Vegetation and soil act like carbon banks because they absorb carbon dioxide and storing them at the underground. You can see them? They're storing there. So, when we log forests or develop land, we are not just removing plants, but we are also releasing all the carbons that are stored back into the atmosphere, which harm our environment. But the environment is not only about us. It also harms the animals. As you can see, cutting down forests will destroy their habitats, so they will be endangered species.
Is that the reason why we have a lot of monkeys? Just now I saw some outside. Could that be the reason why?
Maybe.
Okay.
So, climate change does give us, as greenhouse gas emissions blanket the Earth, they trap the sun's heat and prevent it from escaping back into space. This leads to global warming and climate change. There are so many impacts from climate change to us. First, you can see hotter temperature. Local weather forecasters are observing that record-breaking heat days are part of a larger trend, particularly in areas where homes and infrastructure are not designed to handle rising temperature. These heat waves are not only uncomfortable, but they can also be deadly, resulting in more weather-related fatalities than any other type of extreme weather. Higher temperature can also exacerbate drought conditions, which can reduce water availability for agriculture, drinking, and ecosystem. Prolonged drought can lead to crop failures and food insecurity for us. Okay, so the scientists have predicted that melting sea ice and glaciers, along with the fact that warmer water expands in volume, could cause sea levels to rise by the end of the century. This shows that climate change impact our ocean by rising the water. This change will devastate low-lying regions, including island nations and densely populated coastal cities. When sea level rise, they are not only erode our beautiful coastlines, but also threaten the clean water we need for drinking and growing food, which this puts our communities and livelihood at risk.
Do you have any examples of countries or states that are affected by the increasing ocean level? Not here. Vatican City? Vatican City? Have you heard of it? Vatican City, right? Yeah, pretty much affected. Okay, Vatican City is very much affected by the rise of sea levels actually. So some parts of it actually already below the sea level, and some scientists expected that in many more years to come, it might vanish the whole city because of the climate change issue. So I'm pretty sure you have read somewhere about it. Okay.
So just finally, climate change does impact our health. Because as you know, climate change worsens our air quality, which it increases our exposure to harmful substances that can affect our health, especially for individuals with conditions like asthma or heart disease, putting vulnerable population at greater risk. So as you can see here, the vehicle, as I told you before, the vehicles release amount of dangerous gases like carbon dioxide, which this can give us breathing problems, and we would end up in hospital, which maybe that can cause to death. The impact of climate change and the anxiety about what's coming can significantly affect our mental health, leaving many people feeling overwhelmed and struggling to cope with uncertainty and loss. So, as a human, you need to know how to prevent this issue. So there are many options how to prevent this climate change. One of it is you need to switch to an electric vehicle. Electric vehicles help reduce air pollution and cause significantly fewer greenhouse gas emissions than gas or diesel powered vehicles, because they produce no direct emissions. Electric vehicles generally have a lower carbon footprint than gasoline or diesel vehicles, especially when charged with renewable energy like solar, by using solar. But they still run on electricity produced from fossil fuels, and the batteries and engines require rare minerals, which often come with high environmental and social costs. Even though that, electric vehicle does help reduce our carbon footprint. Okay. So the important ways to prevent this climate change is you need to speak out. You need to share information and encourage people around you. This can be done by organizing campaign at school or in public communities. You, as a teenager, of course, you have media social, right? So you can use your media social as a platform to spread awareness. about these issues and encourage them to take it seriously. I believe it is the quickest and most effective ways to make a difference. You can start by reaching out to your neighbor, colleague, friends and family by asking them a question or create a simple form to gather their thoughts and ideas. Together, you can inspire, change and build a stronger community. Climate is an action that we all share. So we need to unite together to take a step for a healthier planet. Lastly, you need to save energy at home. As you know, our energy at home much of our electricity at home are powered by coal, oil and gas. So we need to use less energy by reducing your heating and cooling use, such as you can use fan instead of air conditioner, so we save more energy. Switching to LED light bulbs because they consume less energy and it lasts longer. And you can also hang things to dry instead of using them. Okay, guys. So you need to improve your home's energy efficiency through better installation or replacing your oil and gas furnace with an electric heat pump that can reduce your carbon footprint. You can also install solar panel to generate on your roof to generate power at your home instead of relying on fossil fuels. So, yeah. The conclusion is you need to know your own responsibility as a human on how to reduce the climate change and save the planet, because all the change depends on you guys. Okay, so because the climate change often happen by you guys, so you are also the one who need to prevent this lah. So climate change represents one of the most pressing challenges of our time. The evidence is clear. Human activities mostly are driving unprecedented changes in our climate. And you can also, as previous, in like industrial activities and using transportation. So to combat these issues, it requires immediate action across all levels of society. The individuals, business and government need to work together to prevent these issues by adopting renewable energy, enhancing energy efficiency, and promoting sustainable practices. Not to forget, protecting forests and educating communities are also vital for us. Also vital to prevent this issue. By working together, we can mitigate the effects of climate change and build a healthier, more sustainable planet for future generations. So that's all for me.
Thank you very much.
So any question?
Any question, anyone?